Namaste. For TV9 News, this is Priyanka Deo. Over the past few years, especially in India, Facebook has been criticized for its influence on news distribution, which consequently affects political and societal issues like election outcomes. Now, in response to the Australian federal government's plan to make both Google and Facebook pay for news, Facebook has gone ahead and blocked all news content in Australia. Now, this is huge because not only have mainstream media outlets like the ABC, the Sydney Morning Herald and The Age been blocked, but also a plethora of Australian government agencies, including fire and rescue departments, health departments, and the Bureau of Meteorology, which provides the Australian community with weather forecasts, severe weather warnings, and flood alerts. Now, Facebook has also gone ahead and blocked scientific journals from Australia as well. This means that people in Australia and all over the world cannot see any media content from Australia. Now, let's take a look at exactly what's happened over in Australia, and more importantly, why should you and I care about it? Here we go. The Media Bargaining Code. While the government of Australia was bushwhacked by the move, it has vowed to not back down on its Media Bargaining Code. Now, what does this code do? It's a mandatory code of conduct made to check back power imbalances between Australian news media businesses and digital platforms like Google and Facebook. What exactly has been banned? Well, Facebook users, be prepared to see a lot more of your friends' birthday and pet pictures from now on, from Australia at least. Media outlet pages exist, but all the posts are gone. Furthermore, news links cannot be shared on profiles or in groups. Facebook has stated that it will restore certain pages that are currently banned, like those of hospitals, safety and health departments. In fact, some of these pages are already back up and can now post. With that being said, media pages have a hard ban against them. Pages like the Sydney Morning Herald cannot post, and news links can no longer be shared. Why has Facebook banned news? Facebook has been accused of spreading misinformation, fake news, and extremism in different parts of the world, and Australia is no exception. In fact, the tech companies have appeared before the US Congress in high-profile hearings, and the beginning of this year saw the firms clearly not wanting to be a part of EU proceedings on accountability issues. The problem is that these platforms are no longer simple social media sites. They've become a major source for news. For instance, at least 33% of Australians get their news from Facebook. Because Facebook has faced criticism from multiple countries, it has committed itself to combat fake news and to support media outlets. Simultaneously, Facebook and Google are monopoly players in the advertising market. Now, media firms say that their fact-checked, reliable information that they provide to Facebook helps Facebook make more money. On its part, Facebook argues back that the internet should remain free and that it is the media companies who benefit from Facebook because of clicks and engagement that happens on the Facebook platform. Now, this is where the media bargaining law comes into play. The main aim of this law is to check back the dominance of Google and Facebook in this market to protect public interest journalism. Under the law, social media platforms cannot agree on what to pay media outlets for their content. They'll be forced to go under arbitration that will be mandated. Let's talk about the right to free speech. Can Facebook ban news in the first place? The short answer to this question is yes. Facebook is a private company and has every right to take out, whatever it wants on its platforms. Now, the government of Australia cannot force Facebook to put news platforms back because this is Facebook's call as well. Even though Facebook is allowed to go through with this ban, the decision tells the world a lot about Facebook though. Since the platform is so influential with news, with 33% of Australians getting their news from Facebook, banning news organizations just because Facebook is upset with a government decision or to prove a point shows that it's more interested in showing off its influence and less interested in preserving objective journalism or providing quality services for its users. Has the right to free speech died in Australia? The answer to this is not at all. Australians and anyone in the world can still access news by visiting news websites directly. The same stories can also be accessed on other social media platforms like Twitter. The real impact of the Facebook ban is not that the right to free speech will end or that democracy will end. Rather, it is that with the absence of professional media organizations which put out verified news, sources on Facebook that have not been banned can spread misinformation and fake news now. Now, without verified news to check this, Facebook will inevitably become a place for conspiracy theories and even extremism. With this in mind, why should people living in other countries like you and I care about this? If Facebook can get upset and implement this level of ban in Australia, it certainly won't hesitate to ban on a massive scale in India, the USA, the UK, or anywhere else really. With this in mind, it is important that you think about your usage of the platform. If you are on Facebook or if you consume your news through it, it is important to not blindly believe things that you read. Regardless of a ban or not, remember that anyone can post anything on Facebook. Therefore, it's important that you do your own fact-checking and verification for things that you consume on Facebook or, for that matter, any social media platform. We are still waiting and watching to see whether Facebook's news ban in Australia is temporary or permanent. But as we do wait to see what happens, I implore you to consider being more proactive about the things you watch and read on social media platforms, and more importantly, to not be misled by fake news and misinformation. What do you think about Facebook banning news organizations in Australia? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Leave your comment in the section below. I really want to know your opinion. Also, be sure to like and share this video with your friends and family. Most importantly, subscribe to TV9 News. With that being said, I'll see you next time. Until then, this is Priyanka Deo for TV9 News signing off. Namaste.